Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Albie. I have another review for you today. I just finished a wonderful book. It is Mine Till Midnight by Lisa Kleypas. I've actually had a few friends over the last couple months recommend this series to me. My friend Brandy from Brandy Rants and Reads, or Reads and Rants, she talked about this when I did a sort of what to read after Bridgerton, and she said that the Hathaway series, which is his book one of, is really similar if you love that sibling dynamic that's featured in the Bridgerton novels. This should be about the same thing. And so I've absolutely loved this story. I also was recommended this, it was recommended in a video by Books with Samantha. So wonderful recommendation. It was a great read. So, like I said, this is book one in the series by Lisa Kleypas known as The Hathaways. So, what I can gather, it's sort of like a traditional historical romance series where each book in the series will feature a sibling or character that has their featured romance. So, this is book one, and it features the eldest sister of the Hathaway siblings. So, Amelia is 26 years old, and she has decided she is a spinster. She's done with trying to find the marriage prospect. She's buttoned up very tightly. Her hair is slicked back. She dresses in dark, semi-somber clothing for respect and of her station as a lady and of a certain age. She has to sort of wear subdued colors, And it starts off with her on the hunt for her missing brother. Her elder brother, Leo, who is 28, he unfortunately has problems with addiction with gambling, as well as pretty severe alcoholism. And he's gone missing for a few days on another sort of he's just sort of disappeared and been drinking away the money and gambling and hanging out with women of the night sort of thing. And so she and her sort of, Merripen is sort of a brother figure mixed with indentured servant, maybe, but he's more of a family member. And Merripen and Amelia are out looking for Leo, and they stop by this gambling facility that's also like a bar, and there's basically been sight of Leo. And so they go in there to find out where he is. Is he still at the gambling facility? Has he gone somewhere else? Do they know where he is? And they meet Mr. Rohan, also known as Cam Rohan, who is our hero. He helps sort of run the gambling institute. I believe it was hard to tell if he worked for Mr. Westcliff or Lord Westcliff, or if it was Lord St. Vincent. I honestly can't remember. And it kind of got a little confusing when they went to Hampshire. But either way, they track down Leo to find that he's in a brothel and he's, drunk away his pain and he's gambled away the money, and it's a rough situation. And so Amelia, sort of being the level-headed elder of the family, decides that she should, with the seclusion of her brother, they're going to go to Hampshire, outside of the city, which is in the country. She thinks it'll be a better start for the family. Her brother has inherited the family title of the Viscount because all the other men in their family have passed. He's the eldest male, so he'll inherit the title of Viscount. And so they move to the family estate in Hampshire, and there she meets again Mr. Cam Rohan. So what I liked about this story was it wasn't necessarily a full enemies to lovers, but there was definitely some aggravated tension between Cam and Amelia at the very beginning. He is the definition of tall, dark, and handsome. He is half Irish, or I think Irish, not Scottish, half Irish and half Roma gypsy. So he has a tan complexion, he has a pierced ear, longish hair. He's just different from the Caucasian male aristocratic London going person. And so there is some instances of I would say, racism in the story because of Cam being, of Roma Gypsy descent. So I will say that is a trigger. But overall, I just absolutely loved this story. So like I said, it's enemies to lovers. Very, very passionate. I loved the chemistry between Cam and Amelia. It was one of the stories where it was very kinetic. Like you felt like you felt like the characters were drawn to one another. It was romantic. It was sort of a slow burn, but in a really gratifying way. I never felt like the story dragged or the romance was being stilted in some way. It just felt like this perfect slow burn that when they finally do connect, it's going to be mind-blowing for the characters as well as the readers, and that was just a really fun ride. So I absolutely love the story. Like I'll say again, I think it did feature other characters from different Lisa Kleypas novels. For some reason, sorry for licking my lips, it's really hot and I need more water. But I will say, I think the St. Vincents are from another book series. I think they're like The Devil in Winter, maybe? I'm not quite sure. I haven't read all of the Ravenel series, or maybe that's part of the, I think the Ravenels came after the series. So maybe the St. Vincents are from the Wallflower series, which I haven't read yet, but I do have book 1 behind me to read soon. But I do think that the characters sort of do overlap. But I really like this story. This was a 6-star read. I just saw that on my YouTube channel. My current highest watched video is my review of Cold Hearted Rake by Lisa Kleypas, which is book 1 in the Ravenels. And I actually gave that book like a 2.5 or a 3 to 3.5. I liked it, but I didn't love it. And I was really questioning why people love Lisa Kleypas. Apparently that book is just sort of a fluke. Not a lot of people love that book, but this one, wow, I was really engrossed in the story. It's pretty hefty. I will say Lisa Kleypas, as a writer, that I've noticed is a little wordier than some of the other than some of her other contemporaries like James or Quinn, etc. I found that her works are a little more dense, but not in a bad way, in a very descriptive way that gets you transported into the story. You feel really engrossed in it, and you have I had a good time reading it. It felt to me like I was reading a little bit slower than I traditionally do with a book, but I think it's because I was really drawn into the story, really drawn into the characters, and I didn't want to rush through it. I was enjoying the slow burn. I was enjoying the romance. I was enjoying the excitement. There is a good bit of exciting things that happen. There's some funny instances with the youngest sister, Beatrix, and there's some dramatic elements such as a house fire and other things. I don't want to do too many spoils, but I loved this story, and I have book 2 ready to go soon. I will say I got this at a used bookstore, and unfortunately my step back was ripped out. So the previous owner, or the bookstore, I'm not sure which, ripped out the beautiful step back. So I had to Google what it looked like. And this is the first edition, I'm pretty sure, because it's got the raised letters. So I was so bummed about that, because I love a step back. And I don't have any, because all of my books are like the newer ones, which don't really do a step back anymore. So yeah, I was sort of bummed. But yet again, rambling on. Love the story. I think a lot of people will enjoy Mine Till Midnight. I will say there are a good bit of hefty trigger warnings that I found that I wanted to point out to my fellow readers if they're looking to read this book. There are instances of loss of parent, loss of fiance, loss of best friend, house fire, gun violence, racism, some sexism, it's with the time. And I have them all listed in my description box in case I do forget one, because but I think those were all the major ones I could think of. It was pretty hefty. I mean, there's some, it's not graphic by any means, but it can be, if you're not wanting to read something in that space currently, it's good to know what to expect if you need to know your triggers. So I have them listed in my description listed in the description box. They're also posted on my Goodreads review, as well as on my Instagram posts. I always put my written review as well with triggers. So in case I have forgotten one, please feel free to just scroll down to the bottom. I always keep them on the bottom. I bold trigger warnings or trigger content there so you can look and see. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this review. I highly recommend Mine Till Midnight. It was a 6-star read, so one of my favorites of this year, and the spice was wonderful. Really well written. So Lisa Kleypas has earned her respect for me again. I did say Cold Hearted Rake was kind of iffy, but this, I can see why she is one of the top romance authors of our time, or authors of our time, I should say. Just a lovely story. I cannot wait till read. I think it's book 2 is Seduce Me at Sunrise, which I have down here. And I did just purchase Secrets of a Summer Night, which is book 1 in the Wallflowers. And I wasn't sure I was going to do it, but since my currently most watched video is my review of Cold Hearted Rake, I have purchased Marrying Winterborn, which is book 2 in the Ravenel series. So that should be coming within a month or 2. So I try not to read the series or the same author fully for the whole month. I want to have some diversity, but if you are a person that really liked my review of Cold Hearted Rake and want me to continue with the Ravenels, I will continue slowly with the Ravenels. If Marrying Winterborn does really well, which I think it will, we'll go on to Devil in Spring, I believe is book 3. And so, yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at I'll Be Reading Romance. Don't forget to follow me here. Please like, subscribe, as well as comment. And let's see, what's a good question? 1, have you read this book? What did you think of it if you haven't? And 2, if you have bought used historical romances, have you ever had the step back ripped out before? Let me know in the comments below. What would you do? I had to Google mine. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.